Okay, CloudBot. Lately, I've been spending a lot of money and not really tracking where it goes. So make me a website using the subdomain bebetter.clawdbot.cloud and create a regret minimization calculator. So if I'm about to buy a latte now, how much money would I lose at retirement if I invested instead in fixed deposits or stocks? Make it really easy, great on mobile, ask no questions, go. Yeah, it's just something I thought of, while I was at the coffee shop. I was like, man, I wonder how much money I'm really spending.
Okay.
And, the best way to minimize regret is to calculate how much you're losing. First of all, what is CloudBot, right? So CloudBot is an AI assistant where you can take any AI assistant you already use, such as ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, and you can actually put it in your own private cloud system where you can access it in all different surfaces that you always use, where it can also always use all the tools you use every day. So as a practical matter, that means that you can talk to your own AI assistant on your WhatsApp or your Telegram or your Mattermost, which is what we're going to demo now. And then you can control things on the internet, including making new websites, as well as accessing your email, creating new websites based on what's in your email, sending you PDF reports, answering your emails, and all kinds of awesome tasks like that, whatever you really want your AI to do. In the last few days, ever since I've had the platform set up, we've had it do all kinds of amazing things. I have it answer my emails regularly.
And you're doing this from your phone?
I'm doing it from my phone, and it's synchronized to my desktop as well. So I actually have it on pretty much all the surfaces that I use. And in the future, I expect to be wearing a necklace and talk to it too, or talk to my watch. For now, it's on my desktop and my phone, and on the web in the cloud with all the tools that I use all the time. Yeah, let me share my screen. Let's see if it's done. So here it says this is the request at 9:31, and then you can see maybe a few minutes later, it's actually done. I can give it feedback. I can be hey, this is awesome, but let's tweak a couple of things. First of all, it's leave it blank when you start, and then can we inflation adjust those dollars, because how much is $50 in 20 years? What if it's 5 today?
And tell it to use a lot of emojis.
And I guess use more emojis, and just make it more animated, maybe when you put it in, whoa, big reveal. Let's see how it does. And the good news is you don't actually have to sit with it. It'll just ping you when it's done.
Great. You can just go off and continue that coffee order.
Yep. Minimizing the regret. Oh, wait. You did it.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. All right. So there's your emoji.
Okay.
Let's put in some numbers. 41. Family 65. Ooh.
That count up. Oh yeah, you should be terrified.
All right. So that's the headline.
Yeah.
Right? The $25 is what you're losing. You buy a $5 latte if you're my age. And if you're your age, how old are you, Dominic? 26?
I am 28.
Oh man.
I am as old as Mr. Beast.
Every time you have a latte, you are throwing away $57.
What?
Yep.
How am I wasting more money than you?
Because you will take longer to retire.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
600K.
Yeah. I mean, wow. This number is 220K in today's money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still a lot of money if it's a daily habit.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was just a toy example, but it is very illustrative of how powerful the system is. And as we go through this video, we're actually going to show you how you can get this set up on your own, the same way I just showed you, on your own VPS in the cloud, and how you can link it to at least some of your key tools like your Google Drive, Google Sheets, and your Gmail. And then at the end, if you'd like to do this on your own or get this up and running quickly, you can reach out to us at our website, which we'll share at the end of the video.
All right, let's get started. All right, guys, let's get swifty. All right, so we're going to kick things off by visiting this URL. This is where I'm hosting the slides, as you can see here. So we are, in this tutorial, going to set up CloudBot with Mattermost and Google all in one go. So wish me luck. It's probably going to take a couple minutes, but we're going to get there. We're going to go from 0 to hero. We're going to go from 0 to personal AI assistant in just a couple minutes. All right. So in order to do this, you're going to need the following prerequisites. You're going to need a VPS. So for my VPS, I am using Vultr. So I already have Vultr open here. I'm going to go ahead and then go to deploy. And when you go to deploy, you want to select shared CPU. That's where you're going to get the cheap prices. As you can see, starts all the way from $2 all the way up. I'm going to choose the $10 option. ATL is perfect. From there, I'm going to go to configure software. And then I'm going to choose Ubuntu. All right, a whole bunch of software here you can configure. Choose Ubuntu, and I'm going to choose 24.04. All right, I'm going to skip SSH keys for now. Just want to keep things simple. And we can call this the CBOT server, right? From here, public IPv4 obviously checked off there. And just turn this off. Automatic backups are not needed for this test. Disable that. That actually drops the price to about $10. And that's pretty much it. Just hit the deploy button and you should be on your way to a brand new server. So server created. Let's move on. Okay, so the next thing you need is Mattermost. Right? So for Mattermost, it's a little bit outside the scope of this video. There should be a link in the description of this video showing you how to set up Mattermost. It's pretty easy, not very hard at all. I have my Mattermost set up at mm.escglobal.co. So this is my Mattermost. This is essentially a free alternative to Slack. It's kind of like Rocket Chat for those of you who know what that is. But, you know, if you don't want to use Telegram, if you don't want to use WhatsApp, this is a really great alternative, as you will see in a moment. And the last thing you need here is some time. So grab some coffee, because this is going to be good. All right, next we are going to be working on the VPS setup. So go back to Vultr and go and copy the IP address of the server that you just created. And then go into your terminal. Here I'm using Termius. I'm going to go ahead and do an SSH root, then the IP address. All right, it's asking me for the password. So we're going back, we're copying the password, and we are pasting it in here. All right. So after pasting it, we should be successfully logged in. All right. So now that we're logged in, we are going to first begin with an apt update. All right, so that's going to make sure we have all of the latest sources for installing packages. And yeah. All right. And yeah, let's get back to the slides. Essentially, the next thing we have to do is create a new user called CBOT. This is going to be the user that we're going to install CloudBot on. Give it a password. Please try and remember that password because it's going to be needed later on. I'm just going to call that CBOT and just hit enter for all of the others. Next thing is we want to enable it to be a sudo user. So I'm just going to come here and make it a sudo user. Perfect. After doing that, we want to install Node.js and npm and actually enable pnpm through CorePack. So I'm just going to come in here, copy this, paste that in, and that is going to start the process of installing Node.js from source or from that URL. As soon as that is done, we are going to execute apt-get install Node.js, and that's actually going to install Node.js. All right, so let's just wait for it to finish. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to go in here and copy the command for installing Node.js, paste that in. Nice. So Node.js is installed. Then we're going to enable CorePack with this command here. Beautiful. And then we are going to activate it with this one. All right, perfect. The last thing to do is just to verify that pnpm is set up. So the reason why we're setting up pnpm is that it's the package manager that CloudBot uses, and we are going to be using that to actually clone and build and set up CloudBot from source, right? Because we want to set up the Mattermost plugin, and that plugin is currently available on the main branch. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to log in as the cbot user that we just created using the su command. Go over, I'm going to clear the screen. We're going to log in as cbot. And once we log in as cbot, I'm just going to type cd. So I'm in my home directory, home/cbot. You want to make sure you're here. All right, and then from there, we are going to be, I think we've already done this. It would be, a duplicate, but let's just do it anyways. So that just enables core pack again. However, this is the most important line of the slide. This line here is going to use the CloudBot installation script to actually clone the latest version of CloudBot, and it's going to have the source code inside of a directory in our home folder. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to drop that into the terminal. All right, so that is going to kick off the CloudBot installer. It's detected my operating system and it's basically started the cloning process. If you're familiar with this, you'll see it's basically cloning a Git repository, and in no time it should have everything set up. So everything is up to date, beautiful. And it's basically started installing the packages with pnpm. The next thing it's probably going to do is it's going to build, and after building, it's just going to allow us to start the entire process. So let's just wait for this to complete. And fantastic, it just finished building, and we basically have this nice CloudBot logo here, fresh daily CloudBot doctor, and yeah, it's kind of setting itself up. Beautiful. And it looks like we are good to go. So we have the source code here. We have all of the other details provided here. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get started configuring CloudBot. The one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is the fact that CloudBot is on the server at the moment. The source code for CloudBot, not the binary. So this folder that we have here is essentially a folder with source code inside of it. Most of it is TypeScript. So if you list out the components, you'll see you have the node modules and other files that indicate this is the source code. So I just wanted to point that out. The reason why we're doing this is because Mattermost plugin is available in the extensions folder, and we're going to enable that next. So we are going to be installing the Mattermost extension next. So as you can see, we're in the CloudBot folder. Remember, this is the source code folder. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically type out npm CloudBot plugins install, then the extensions Mattermost, and then link. This is essentially going to link the Mattermost plugin to your CloudBot configuration. More on that later. So running this is going to trigger a script inside of the package.json, and it's going to basically link our extension Mattermost to your CloudBot. So your CloudBot will now have that functionality. Okie dokie. So it says the link plugin path is here, and we are basically ready to go. Okay, so the next thing to do is we're going to use pnpm to essentially configure the CloudBot. So we're now doing the very first initial configuration. In order to do that, you're going to type pnpm CloudBot and then configure. Okie dokie. All right, it's working now. So pnpm CloudBot configure, and then we begin the configuration. So in order to get started with that, I just want to show you the next slide. These are the things we're going to configure. I'm going to go through the steps together with you so you don't get lost. So first thing is we're going to choose a local machine so that we have it running on localhost. So I'm going to go ahead and choose model, and I'm going to choose Anthropic. I'm going to be connecting via API key. All right, so I'm going to choose API key here, and it's going to ask me to go grab the API key. All right, this is how the Anthropic console looks like. It's just platform.clawd.com. This is the Anthropic dashboard or console. So you create a key. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it the cbot key number 1. All right, go ahead and create that. You're going to get this key here. Copy it. I'm going to go in and paste that key. Opus 4.5. That's the one I want. All right. So yeah, we've basically set up our model. Web tools really not necessary for this particular tutorial. Gateway, also not necessary. The defaults are perfect. Daemon, also not necessary. Channels, so we want to set up the Mattermost channel. Go to configure link, and we're going to choose Mattermost. I'm going to choose local plugin here, and then we are going to put in the Mattermost bot token. You need to go to Mattermost. I'm going to switch over, and we are going to go to Mattermost. Okay, so I'm going to go to integrations. It's right underneath system console. Go to integrations, click bot accounts, and go to add bot account. So we're going to create a new account here. We're going to call it Elmo. I'm going to choose Elmo's image. Perfect. We're going to call this bot Elmo. Call it Elmo. We're going to choose system admin, so it has access to all the channels and all of the capabilities it needs to have access to. We'll click create, and this is the token for Elmo. So just grab this token here, come here, drop it in. The base URL is essentially the URL at the top of the screen here, mm.eseglobal.co. You're going to paste this in here, and voila, we're basically done. Go to finished, and perfect. What we want to do next is we want to authenticate the CloudBot. Before we can authenticate it, we have to make sure that the gateway is running. So in order to run the gateway, we're going to run it in foreground mode so we can end it as soon as we have what we need. I'm going to type pnpm CloudBot as usual, and then you are going to provide gateway as the option here, and then -- verbose. So this is going to start a CloudBot gateway localhost, and it's going to connect to our Mattermost because it's configured, and that is going to power Elmo. So as you can see, connected as Elmo. This is great news. And yeah, we can go over and have a conversation with Elmo. So when you say hi, Elmo goes like, you need to authenticate me. All right, so this is the authentication pairing code. All right, so I supplied a Control-C and Control-C to essentially end the foreground mode gateway that we started, and we are going to authenticate Elmo. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this command here. This is actually the command, CloudBot pairing approve Mattermost, and then you provide the code. This is actually the code. So we're going to prepend our command with pnpm as usual, paste this, and we're gonna put in the code at the end. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this code, and CloudBot should eat that right up and give us a success message. So we have just authenticated Elmo. All right, so Elmo is authenticated and ready to communicate with CloudBot. As you'll notice, CloudBot is not running. We ended it previously, but it's authenticated and we'll be communicating with it very soon. All right, so let's get back to the slides. And the next thing is to set up Google Workspace. So this is going to allow us to do a lot of really cool things. Really excited to jump into it. All right, so in order to set up the Google Workspace skill, we're going to be setting up something called GOG-CLI, and GOG-CLI is a command line tool created by Peter Steiberger, as you know, the creator of CloudBot. And in order to do that, we're just going to go through these commands. But the way it works is it's set up through Homebrew, the Mac package manager. Turns out Homebrew actually runs on Linux. So let's get started. I'm going to copy these command here. I guess most of these things should already exist on the server, but you never know. So type that in. If something gets installed, great. If nothing gets installed, you are good to go. In my case, nothing got installed, so I am good to go. All right. The next thing we want to do is install Homebrew. So this is the Homebrew installation command. Very popular. I'll clear the screen and drop that in. All right. So it says press enter, and lots of Homebrew stuff happening. So we're just going to wait for this to complete. I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, let's just wait for it for a while. Okay, fantastic. Homebrew just got done installing. Okay, so it's very, very important that you add Homebrew to your bash RC. So we are going to copy this line here, or these two lines actually, and just paste that in. and that is going to allow you to run brew version, if I can spell correctly. And if you're at this level, you should be able to install the GOG CLI. All right, so it's on the next slide. The next slide indicates you install the GOG CLI by typing this command, brew install, Peter Steiberger's, slug, and GOG CLI. So I'm going to copy that and paste that in. Okay. So that is going to begin the process of installing the GOG CLI. So the GOG CLI is going to allow us to access the following APIs, right? We're going to have access to Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Chat, Google Drive, Google Classroom, which I think is going to be really cool for those that use it, people. So you can access contacts, Google Sheets, very, very useful, tasks, and cloud identity. Okay, so we're going to go through a very, very elaborate process. So for this part of the video, you're going to have to pay very close attention because it's a little finicky, but it's doable. We're going to go through it and we're going to come out having set up Google Cloud or the Google Workspace. So for this part of the video, I'm going to recommend that you use the supplied Google Sheets in the description of this video. The setup is going to happen through Google Cloud. So the first thing you want to do is basically go to Google Cloud Console. Just search that. And then typically the first link gets you there, right? So when you get there, you're probably going to see no organization here. It doesn't matter. Just click new project and create that new project. I am going to call it the CBot project, and my project has been created. So as you can see, it's going to take a short time and it's going to get created. I'm going to select it. So selecting it is going to switch this selector here from the organization to the project. You probably may have no organization. So just create the project and make sure it's selected and you should be good to go. All right. So the next thing we want to do is if we head back to our document here, remember this document is going to be in the description below, is we want to enable all these APIs for the project that we have just created. So I'm just going to make this really simple for you. Just click the link and enable. It's going to be that simple. Because you've already selected it, it's going to be selected every single time, as you can see here. So I'm just going to click enable for Gmail. That's just going to take some time. We don't have to wait for it since we have so many of them to do. I'm going to do the same for Google Calendar. It's taking a little bit to load, but same process. You click enable for that. I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the Google Chat API. As you can see, it's the same process, very repetitive. It's essentially you enabling all the APIs for the project that you just created. The next thing is we're going to be creating the OAuth credentials that will be used by CloudBot. But before then, we have to make sure we've enabled all of the APIs that GOG CLI needs. So we're finally here at Google Classroom. The next thing is the People's API, which is contacts. If you keep your contacts on Google, this is going to allow CloudBot to access those. The next one is the Google Tasks API. I haven't really used that much, but I'm sure it's probably got something to do with, keeping track of your to-do list. Next thing is the Google Sheets API, which in my opinion is the most useful, plugin out here. It allows you to do a lot of cool stuff, formulas, creating like data sheets, like analyzing data sheets, summarizing them. It can do the whole thing. It's crazy. And finally, we have cloud identity. All right. So that is a whole bunch of services. So we've enabled all the services. We've gone through all of these. And the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and create credentials. So I'm going to click this link here and I just make sure the project is selected. Once the project is selected, as you can see, there are new credentials. Remember, I told you we're going to be creating the OAuth credentials. So click this button here, create credentials. And you're going to choose OAuth client ID. When you choose that, you're going to click configure consent screen and get started. So here, I'm just going to call it CloudBot. You can call it whatever. Misspells that. You can choose, your email as well. I'm going to choose external because that's probably what you're going to see. Internal is going to be for, individuals that have a Google Workspace, but external is probably what you're going to see. So I'm just going to make sure, you can follow. All right. So I'm just going to put in the same. So CloudBot Cloud, and then definitely you have to agree. And then you basically hit create. All right. So once this has been created, you can go to branding and you should see the information that you just put in, which is pretty amazing. The next most important thing you want to do is you want to come to test users. So test users is the most important thing. So this OAuth credentials that we just created is in test mode. It's not in production. In order to put it into production, you're going to have to click publish. But, we're going to have to add our test user. The test user is really simple. It's the user that you're currently logged in as, or the user that you're going to be accessing the content for. So in my case, it's going to be team@clawdbot.cloud. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And that's pretty much it. All right, so let's get back. Let's see if we did that. So we configured the OAuth, and definitely our app is testing. So we added the test user. Yeah, we basically to go there. So we are going to go to this link next. So this is going to allow us to create the client. I'm basically going to click create client here. And we're going to choose desktop. You can name it CloudBot if you want, but I'm not going to change that. Basically, you're going to click create. And once you do that, you're going to get this beautiful dialog here. But essentially, this is where you should end up. You're going to click download JSON. All right, so we're finally here. We have the JSON file that will be used to sign in the GOG CLI. So the CloudBot will be able to access our resources on Google. So let's do that next. All right, so for this part of the video, you are going to rename the file that we just downloaded into something a little bit more manageable. So we're gonna MV the client secret that ends in SR, which is this one, perfect. And we're gonna rename it to auth, let's say auth2.json. So we have auth2 on our local computer. This is not on the remote server, by the way. We downloaded this to our remote computer. So this JSON data is going to have to be transferred to the server. So it's really easy to do that. All you have to do is use the SCP command. So definitely cbot. We definitely want to use the IP address. So I'm going to come in and copy the IP address from here. You put a colon, and then you basically specify the folder it should land in. So I'm going to come all the way to this side and type auth2.json. Perfect. I remember that one. Okay, so it's been transferred. All right, so once that's been transferred, open two terminals. We're going to use those two terminals to authenticate GOG CLI. So I'm going to come in here and type SSH root at the IP address. As usual, it's going to ask me for a password. I'm going to type SSH root at the IP address. It's going to ask me for a password. I'm going to go grab the password from Vultr. All right, so I'm going to paste the password in here, log in, paste the password in here, log in. So once we're logged in on both sides, you want to make sure you are on the unprivileged CBOT users, SU CBOT. Okay, and we're going to do an SU CBOT on this side as well. So I want to clear the screen so everything is nice and tidy. Make sure you're in the home folder on both sides. All right, so type pwd, see where we are, pwd, see where we are. See the contents, beautiful. So we have the auth2.json file lying in there, which we basically just transferred from our local computer onto the VPS. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this here, and I am going to type out the name of the file. So GOG authenticate credentials, and you provide your file. So this is a success message, and we are ready to do the final step. All right, so this is where things get a little bit finicky, but follow, you'll get it. The command you want to run in terminal 1 is GOG auth add, and then the name or the email related to your Google Workspace. So for me, it's going to be team@clawdbot.cloud, like that. So when I click that, you'll see I have this URL here. Okay, so and then I'm going to command click on it to open it. All right. So clicking on it is going to open this very familiar screen. We've all seen this screen before. I'm going to click on my user. I'm going to click continue, and I am going to allow. All right. So you'll notice it says, okay, the site, can't be reached or whatever. The reason is because it's trying to access the VPS on localhost. So you got to do this quickly. Copy this URL. And then inside of terminal 2, you're going to type curl and you're going to put quotes, right? These are double quotes. And then in the middle, you're going to paste that link. So once you do that, that is going to complete the authorization. Because it's a Linux-based system, it's going to ask you for a password for the keyring. Make it empty. Pressing enter twice is going to get you to the finish line. Run this thing here. This thing here is very important. You're going to copy this and just paste it into your terminal. And we're going to copy this export command. We're going to copy export GOG account is equal to team@clawdbot.cloud. You replace this one with your email. Your email goes here. In my case, that's the email I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it in the terminal. It's probably going to ask me for the keyring thing again, but remember, we had no password for it. So as you can see, we have all of our labels. So we are good to go. GOG is set up. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to run the gateway again, or the server, the CloudBot server, which is going to initialize Elmo. And we're going to see if Elmo has access to GOG CLI, or the GOG command line platform we just set up, and see if we can actually get it to, bypass this keyring potentially. All right, that's what we're doing next. Now for this part of the video, we just want to ensure that GOG CLI is actually being registered as a skill inside of CloudBot. So to do that, we're going to go to our CloudBot source code folder, and we are going to run the skills command to see what skills we have set up. So it's very simple. Remember, you need to be in the source code folder. I'm going to use pnpm cloudbot and then skills. It's literally that simple. So this is going to display all the skills that are currently available to CloudBot in case we do decide to run it. We have access to weather, we have access to tmux, we have access to the skills creator, which is really great. We have access to Notion, that's cool. We have access to GOG, this is what we're looking for. And we have access to a whole bunch of other stuff. As you can see, those ones that are missing can easily be configured through the configure command in CloudBot. So this means we are good to go. All right, so finally, we are ready to test Elmo out. So in order to do that, remember, you're gonna have to run the gateway once more. I'm gonna do a pnpm cloudbot gateway. And then we're going to do verbose just so we can track what's going on. Perfecto. It's starting the server. We're going to see a couple logs to indicate that our configuration is working pretty well. So you'll see that Mattermost is finally connected as Elmo. That is good. And we will be chatting with Elmo briefly. All right. So get back to Elmo's chat and say hi to Elmo. Hi. As you can see, Elmo's typing. Let's see what Elmo has to say. Oh, okay. So it says, hi, I just came online. Fresh workspace, no memories yet. Okay, cool. So Elmo wants to know who he is. Okay. And wants to know who I am. All right, so let's give it those answers. So you are Elmo. Red furry monster from Sesame Street. And I am Dominic. All right. So it's going through the bootstrap phase, or it's going through the process where it's getting to understand who it is and configuring itself. That's one of the cool things that CloudBot can do. It can configure itself. So that's great. So what do we have here? So, all All right, so Elmo is going to be this red emoji. So Elmo has a question. All right, that is very, very Elmo-like. What time zone does Dominic live in? Elmo wants to know when it's bedtime. Okay, all right. It's probably a little bit too playful, but you know, it's cool. I like it. My time zone is Dominic is in EST. Okay, so nice. Nice. Okay, yeah. He's telling me good morning. So Elmo's all set up now. Yeah. You can delete the bootstrap. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is find out if Elmo has access to our Gmail. All right. Let's see. Hey, Elmo, do you have access to GOG or Gmail? Let's see. Okay. So Elmo sees that he's got the GOG skill. That's great. Okay, yay, GOG is installed. All right, let's see if it's connected. It's probably gonna get the... All right, so it says Elmo found the GOG, but it's not fully set up yet. It needs the keyring. Perfect. So the password is empty. Update bash rc and restart your shell, so you don't have to enter it every time. All right, this is the beauty of CloudBot. Yeah, Elmo can do that. That's great. So Elmo's gonna go ahead and do all of those really cool things. Okay, yeah, Elmo, do your thing. At the end of the day, Elmo is going to allow us to use GOG to access our Google services in just a second. So it's really smart. It's really the best agentic loop I've used in a very long time. So great work, Peter Steiberger. This is phenomenal. So Elmo is getting his work done. He should, have everything connected in just a little bit. So let's just wait for it. All right. So after, tinkering around for a while, Elmo figured it out. So Elmo figured it out that, the workaround is using the PTY mode and pressing enter for the empty password. It says it's a bit clunky, but it works. So Elmo has basically updated its own tools.md, which is crazy, by the way. And now we have access to all of Gmail. So let's say, hey, Elmo, check my email. All right. You've got mail. All right. So Elmo's checking my email, and Elmo should be reporting with the list of emails that I have. So let's see. They should be a bunch of resumes. All right, so we have some emails. So resume 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so what we're gonna do here is, hey, Elmo, can you combine all the resume attachments into one big PDF and show me? All right, so let's see. Elmo, can you do that? All right, so Elmo's going to download all the attachments first. That's cool. All right, Elmo's working. He's typing, getting stuff done. And if you check over on, your gateway, you're going to see all of the things that Elmo's actually doing, the individual tool calls and everything. Really, really cool to watch. So, all right, back at Mattermost, you'll see Elmo is doing things. All right, so we finally made it to the end. As you can see, Elmo finally combined all 4 resumes into one big one with a total of 64 pages. That's insane. Here's a PDF. If you click it, it's going to open. As you can see, a whole bunch of pages that, get to be opened right here in the browser. Wow, this is amazing. We are done. We have been able to set up CloudBot, Mattermost, and Google Workspace. Whoa, that took a while. All right, so we just got done with the setup. Aditya, can you tell us about the offering that we have for all the non-technical people out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you want to live on the frontier and join us AI engineers and live in this heaven of automation, the easiest thing you can do is to go over to clawdbot.cloud. It's kind of a strange domain, but you'll see it over the screen, and we'll drop it in the chat as well. And you want to go to clawdbot.cloud, and you want to get added to our waitlist, because in a few days we're going to have it so that you can just have all these tools we just showed you set up on your phone and your computer with just a couple of QR codes and just a couple of easy steps. And that's it. You'll be right on the road to getting stuff done with AI.
AI heaven. Yeah, you'd be with the angels.
Yep. If you want to put the magic in your pocket, go to clawdbot.cloud.
All right. Okay.